Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. Later today, one of the biggest morons in Scotland will struggle to get to her feet and deliver a budget. She'll sit there and do devastating harm. She will destroy the tax base, destroy businesses, do nothing for the people, harm people deliberately, removing money from healthcare and putting it solely towards independence. And businesses will suffer, people will suffer. It will be an awful mess. And at the end of it, there'll be a vote. And there's no guarantee, even, that he'll pass the budget. There's just about enough people, perhaps, within the SNP that will vote it down, through a rebellion. It would be the end of Humza Yousaf. And I wouldn't put it past Kate Forbes to lead that rebellion against him. Could be in for an interesting day later on. However, before she gets up and struggles to pass a budget, Shona Robertson may wish to be aware that Scotland's economy is the slowest growing of any region in the United Kingdom. And that's entirely down, of course, to the SNP and their disastrous, moronic, cretinous policies. What's she going to do to change them? Nothing. She's just going to make the whole thing far, far worse. Let's have a look. So the SNP failure laid bare as Scotland's economic growth billions of pounds behind other devolved UK regions. The Scottish Labour pointed out that Scotland's economic growth even lagged behind the likes of Wales, which has similar devolved powers to the Scottish Government. And of course Wales has got a much smaller population, a much smaller economy, and yet its growth is still way higher than Scotland's. It's almost as though the SNP are deliberately retarding Scotland's growth. They're doing policies which deliberately limit it. It can be the only explanation. They're certainly not putting money where it needs to be, only where they want it to be, with every single department being cut or being punished for 17 years. The only sort of department where money is being spent and where there's a real term increase is in independence. Jamie Hebber's sitting in his office, pies and doubles and trebles all round, going woohoo, look at all the money we're getting, for no reason whatsoever. Meanwhile, people are dying in hospital, kids coming out of school barely literate, and of course the mental health issue. That's a big one. 30 million cut from that budget, but 35 million ring-fenced for those independent embassies. Although they're starting to change the name. Ever since they're being ridiculed for calling them their embassies, they're now calling them the trade missions. But there's still no reason to have them. Trade missions are all a part and parcel of the British economy. Sorry, the British embassies. And so there is no reason for these things. But it's still money wasted terribly by a government that is insistent upon not having growth and upon really punishing people. That's the only way that goes through. But they're all psychopaths. They'll do anything other than help because they know a happy and content population will not vote for the SNP. Anyway, the SNP's failure presiding over Scotland has been laid bare by new analysis, which revealed that the country's economic growth lags billions of pounds behind other devolved UK regions. And Ali Baba's administration has been accused of being bereft of ideas and ambition. Well, I can believe certainly that they're short of ideas. They're not very bright, are they? When you put Shona Robertson in charge of your finances, God help you. Anyway, Scots are about to be hammered by budget cuts. I don't think that's a very good term, really. Hammering and Scots. Deary me. Edward I, anybody? But anyway, Scots are about to be hammered by budget cuts and tax hikes in the upcoming budget, with Finance Secretary Shona Robertson warning about a £1.5 billion black hole in her finances. Her solution is an extra income tax for those earning $75,000 and above, meaning the pockets of middle-class families will be raided and they will probably do something about it. That will include, indeed, some of them leaving Scotland and taking with them their incomes. Oh dear, what a shame. Poor old Shona is about to be shown a lesson in human nature because she has no idea whatsoever what the hell she's doing. Anyway, new analysis from Scottish Labour has revealed that if Scotland's economy had grown at the same pace as the UK as a whole between 2012 and 2021, it would be £8.5 billion larger. SNP ministers are always complaining that its sluggish growth is due to not having the full powers of independence. However, the figures show that the country's economy also lags behind other regions of the UK, including the North West England, which is £11.5 billion bigger, the West Midlands, £9.6 billion bigger, and even one of the other UK devolved countries, Wales, had higher growth at nearly £10 billion bigger. So this has got nothing to do with Westminster and everything to do with people in Scotland voting for the SNP. So all you SNP voters who think voting for the SNP is doing you good, it just goes to show you're 10 billion out of pocket simply because you keep voting for the morons of the SNP who waste all your money on independent schemes that will never come to fruition. Meanwhile, your kids are coming out and can't read. Granny's dying Granny's dying not even in hospital, can't get into hospital. She's dying in an ambulance in the car park of a hospital. The police aren't there to protect you. Everything about your country's falling apart. But hey, Jamie Hebbard's doing really well. Good on him. And of course all their chums are doing very nicely too in those little embassies all over the world. Highly paid jobs, nice little foreign city, lovely. You're paying for that. Hope you know that. Anyway, even taking into account the changes of population, this does not explain the difference. Scotland's GDP would be £834 more per head if it had replicated the overall UK growth. £1,157 more if it had kept up just with the northwest of England. And nearly £2,500 more per head if it had followed Wales' example. But it hasn't, because you're getting people like her put into power, a woman with the IQ of 86. It's no wonder Scotland is suffering. You keep voting morons in, and morons make really, really stupid decisions. My case in point. Scottish Labour claim that while other regions have used devolved powers to grow local economies, the SNP in power in the Scottish Government has held back Scotland's potential and hammered public finances. Finance spokesman Michael Marra said the SNP's low-growth economy has robbed billions of pounds from Scotland's economy. And of course it will, and it will continue to do so. And after today's budget, things will be, if anything, worse. Now, had Scotland's economy grown, the tax base would have been massive, and they could have had so much more. And there would have been millions pumped into schools, education, into the healthcare, into mental health, getting your roads sorted out, getting your communications there, who knows what else. Billions. But because you've got the likes of Shona Robertson, a woman barely intelligent enough to tie her own shoelaces, this is what's going to happen. And it's going to be horrendously bad today. Awfully bad. Well, we will cover it. Once that budget's released today, we will be doing the video on it. But it's going to be horrific, isn't it? Anyway, I shall round off there. I shall come up, we shall finish this video. But, you know, just be prepared for later on today, because it's going to be so bad. And you can guarantee there'll be tax rises as far as the eye can see, and cuts to every single department. So anything that's important to you is going to have a cut. Except, of course, independence. That'll be the only thing where more money is pumped in, because they really think that they're going to get independence. But when you've got an IQ of 86, you're bound to, aren't you? Coming up. Now, I know, obviously, a lot of the viewers here are very much anti-SNP, and we all know how bad they are. And we all know things are only going to get worse before they get better, because there's another 2.5 years before they can be prized out of that power, short of a revolution, I suppose. It would be nice if they had a change of leadership, if they actually had someone come in who's got a brain in their head and isn't completely bonkers. But whether or not that happens, it remains to be seen. I think today is the day if Kate Forbes is going to do it, because this budget could be the issue. If she can get her and 5 other rebels, I think Fergus may well join her, so she really only needs 4 other rebels to vote against the budget and let all the opposition parties know that they're going to vote against, and there's enough there and they can vote down the budget, it would be the end of Humza Yousaf. And I have a feeling Kate may well go for it. And I think there's a lot in the party that really do want her to go because they will back her, not because over the budget, not over the budget, but for other things. And one of the other things is the Greens, because the Greens are so unpopular. And if Kate can get in and dissolve the Greens partnership, she'll run a minority assembly, sure. But without the Greens, they're going to lose all the toxic ideas. They're going to get rid of the arseholes, for want of a better word, out of government. Anyway, we shall leave it there. It's all speculation. We shall wait and see the results. We'll watch the results as they come in. But it's expected around 2 o'clock, I believe. So we'll wait and see what we do. But there'll be definitely a video on that one. Anyway, till then, stay safe, stay well, and I will speak to you later. Bye.